Hello and welcome to Season 5, Episode 4 of the Sajin Photography Podcast. My name is Jason Teal, and today we have an exciting topic to discuss, the past Scott Kelby Worldwide Photowalk. Now, this event is a global celebration of photography, uniting photographers of all skill levels from around the world for a day of exploration, creativity, and camaraderie. But first, let's dive into a bit of the history to understand why this event has become such a favorite of mine and a tradition among photographers worldwide. Now, the Scott Kelby Worldwide Photowalk was started by none other than Scott Kelby, and he's a renowned photographer, author, educator, and I believe one heck of a nice guy. And I do want to jump into a little bit about why I revere Scott Kelby so much. And I run the risk of becoming a little bit of a fanboy, but Scott is one of these people that when I first got into photography and editing and whatnot, I found his Photoshop Guys podcast way back in the day when you still had to download podcasts from iTunes and then physically load them onto your iPod or something like that. It's in the back of my head, the fuzzy recesses of my brain. That's what I remember. I remember watching his episodes on my iPod that I bought, in Tokyo way back in the day. What I always liked about Scott and why this event sort of is close to my heart is I believe he's one of those guys that he's not trying to be some sort of big wig or big shot, even though Kelby has been a name that was synonymous with photography education and whatnot. When I watch his stuff and when I see how he sort of interacts with other photographers, he's not kind of like the new wave YouTube photographers where it's all, what's up, yo, what's up, check out these tips and yeah, drink some coffee. It's nothing like that. I think he's kind of one of the guys, and I think that we need more of that in today's photography environment. Less about the douchebaggery kind of photographers, not to throw Chase Jarvis under the bus, but that sort of douchebag vibe where you get that jock mentality of they're trying to be the best, and if you are not on their league, you're somehow beneath them. And what I find with Scott Kelby is he has this sort of common Joe. You could sit down and have a cup of coffee with him and really sort of feel that you're a part of that group. And that's why I like doing these events every year. I like being a part of sort of, I don't know, that vibe of just having your photo pals around you. No one's trying to be a professional photographer. No one's trying to lord it over you about how awesome their camera gear is. You're just out there for the love of photography. And Scott Kelby sort of does a good, job of sort of promoting that style of photography. And along with his sort of group, with Matt Klaskowski and Dave Cross, fellow Canadian, and, RC Concepcion, all of those guys that I sort of cut my teeth with when I got into photography and editing. They're all those kinds of guys where they're not trying to be the next Peter McKinnon. They just have a general love affair for photography and education. And I really think that that's what we need more of, less of the, slow B-roll, moody shots of Banff or something, whatever. But anyway, going back to the Worldwide Photowalk, it was started by Scott Kelby, and he's kind of envisioned a way to sort of bring photographers together to help explore their local communities, share their passion for photography, and connect with like-minded people. And I think that is sort of the essence of, you can kind of see what I'm getting at when I was going on about Scott. It's that bringing of the community together more than sort of unabashedly promoting yourself. And that's why I think this event began in 2007 with only about 230 participants. And since then, it's grown to this international, worldwide phenomenon. So I think that is a big deal when you think about bringing photographers together. Now, what makes this event so special? Well, the photo walk is just more than a photo walk. It's an opportunity for photographers to come together and learn from one another and explore the beauty of their surroundings. It's a chance to discover new perspectives, create art, and foster connections. Now, relating it to Ulsan, it's a good way to bring people who wouldn't normally hang out together, bring them together for a day of photography and walk around a place that they might not actually view through the photographic eye. And as well, this photo walk is also a charitable event. So Scott has been thinking a lot about how he can help the Hope Springs orphanage and help bring funds to them so that they can build and support themselves. And this sort of donation where it's not mandatory, you're not pressed, it's not like a clickbait thing, it really helps these kids in Kenya get what they need, and it's not doing it in sort of a kind of a dirty, underhanded way. It's when you get a T-shirt, all the proceeds will go to the orphanage, not to Scott's new Tesla truck or something. So yeah, it's a great event all around, and I cannot help but extol the virtues of that. At any rate, this year I had the privilege of once again hosting the photo walk right here in Ulsan. Now, the location was Ulsan Grand Park, which, if you know, is a sort of a vast, spread out area that is really hard to sort of get a good shot of. We had about 15 photographers joining us for this exciting event, and we sort of embarked on a path through Ulsan Grand Park. So we captured the windmill, and then we walked down to the meta sequoia trees, and then even got in some of the jets and tanks by the War Memorial. So it was really a day filled with creativity and sort of like a true, I don't know, maybe it's too much to say like celebration of photography, but it was a good day out. I'm glad the weather held out because it was a little bit gloomy, and actually it held out quite well until I think probably the evening where it started to rain. So I was quite happy that it held off for at least our photo walk. Now, I want to thank everyone who came out to the photo walk here in Ulsan, and probably everyone that came out to the Worldwide Photowalk around the world. But it's your guys' passion and my students' enthusiasm, because all my students came out, that made this day really special for everyone, and myself included. And also, I got to say, I was inspired by how everybody sort of worked together and brought in these unique perspectives and actually really learned from one another. For all those who couldn't make it this year, I know there's a number of people who signed up that couldn't make it from Daegu and Busan and whatnot. Don't worry, there'll be another Worldwide Photo Walk next year, probably around the same time. I'm already looking forward to another incredible Worldwide Photo Walk, so I'm constantly sort of thinking of new places where I can sort of take people and whatnot. So stay tuned and make sure you follow the updates on the social media and the Daegu Ulsan photo group for that sort of announcement way off a year from now. So maybe hold off on the enthusiasm just a bit. Now, if you also are looking for photo walks in general, I'm going to try and create some more monthly themed events in the Daegu Ulsan Photography Club Facebook group. I'll put the link below. But basically, I want to get more events like that going. I've sort of shifted things around a little bit in that group and kind of removed some dead weight from the moderators section. So hopefully now people will be a little bit more active, hopefully. So anyway, thank you for joining me on this episode of the Sajin Photography Podcast. Until next time, keep clicking and keep exploring Ulsan through your lens, and hopefully we'll meet up someday. See you next week.